Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, is this just it? What getting older means? What? Is this what getting older means? Maybe you're starting to notice things, a little more stiffness in the morning, a bit less pep in your step, or perhaps that nagging feeling that your body just isn't quite yours anymore. What if I told you that at just over 60, I'm experiencing something entirely different? I live completely free of diabetes, high blood pressure, and I haven't taken a single daily pill in years. I wake up every morning full of energy, make my own breakfast from scratch, enjoy my daily walk in the sunshine, read books for hours without needing glasses, and my memory? It's sharp as a tack, recalling everything I want to remember with ease. When people see me, they often react with surprise. Some exclaim, "You're so lucky!" Others quickly add, "It must be amazing genetics." And to that, I always offer the same simple, unwavering truth. I simply knew what I was putting on my plate. I wasn't waiting to treat illnesses once they appeared. I was actively preventing them, not giving them even a chance to take root. But let's be honest, that's not the norm, is it? Just look around at my dearest friends, incredible women my age. One struggles to walk even a short distance without gasping for breath. Another's handbag is practically a mobile pharmacy, overflowing with prescriptions and remedies. Some open a pill bottle first thing every morning instead of throwing open a window to greet the day. And tragically, we get so accustomed to this, don't we? We normalize the constant aches, the draining fatigue, the nights spent tossing and turning, unable to find restful sleep. We sigh and tell ourselves, well, what do you expect? It's just age. But I want you to truly consider this. What if it's not just age at all? What if it's a direct consequence, the silent, cumulative effect of what we've been nourishing, or perhaps not nourishing our bodies with for years, even decades? Here's the most important message I can give you today, and I genuinely want you to let this sink in. It's never, ever too late to make a change. Please don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This holds true even if you're already in your 60s, your 70s, or yes, even gracefully navigating your 80s. We're not talking about radical, punishing diets or uncomfortable periods of starvation here. Absolutely not. We're talking about a return to something far simpler, simple, nourishing, wholesome, and truly flavorful food. Food that genuinely feeds every cell in your body, food that possesses an incredible capacity to heal, and food that steadfastly protects you from the inside out. Today, I am so excited to share with you 5 profoundly simple foods that quite literally kick-started what I consider my second youth. Foods I am absolutely convinced played a monumental role in helping me not just survive, but truly thrive into my 60s and far beyond. Before we dive into these life-changing revelations, and I promise they are life-changing, I have one small, heartfelt request. If you're watching this, I would be absolutely thrilled to hear from you. Please take a moment right now to drop your name and the city or state you're tuning in from in the comments section below. It truly warms my heart, more than words can say, to read messages from amazing folks like you across this incredible, vast country, from the vibrant energy of New York City to the serene beaches of Florida, from the majestic mountains of Colorado to the unique desert landscapes of Arizona. Your connection, your presence here truly means the world to me. Now, if you feel that spark, if you care deeply about your own well-being, or if you want to support the health of your beloved family and friends, please consider supporting this growing community of thriving seniors. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. And if, as you watch this video, it deeply resonates with you, if it speaks directly to your heart and your aspirations, please take a moment to type the number 1 in the comments. If for any reason it doesn't quite hit the mark for you, no worries at all, just type 0. Honest feedback is invaluable. It's our fuel, it helps us understand that we're on the right path, creating content that truly serves you, and it genuinely keeps us moving forward. Now, let's get to the good stuff, the core of what I truly believe can transform your everyday. We're going to start with something that has been an absolute non-negotiable, a fundamental staple in my morning routine for literally decades. This isn't just a food. It's a powerhouse that has gifted me with a clear, focused mind and a remarkably light, energetic heart. Product number 1, aronia berry, this little gem, often called chokeberry here in America, is small indeed and has a wonderfully tart flavor. But please don't let its humble size fool you. This berry, I tell you, accomplishes more than an entire shelf full of prescription bottles. I first started incorporating it into my diet about 10 years ago. It wasn't because it was the latest health fad or because I read about it in some glossy magazine. No, it was simply because my incredibly wise neighbor, who happened to be a retired nurse, strongly recommended it. She looked me in the eye and said, "Mary, if you genuinely want your blood vessels to remain as youthful and flexible as a young woman's, then you absolutely must brew some aronia berries. You don't need a huge amount, but make it a part of your daily ritual." At first, I admit I was quite skeptical. A berry? Really? That's going to make a difference? But something in her conviction and my own desire for lasting health pushed me to try. So I brewed a modest handful of dried aronia berries in a thermos, let it steep for a couple of hours, and began drinking about half a glass every single day. Not necessarily without fail, but very, very regularly. And then, slowly but surely, I started to notice something truly remarkable, something almost strange. The pervasive heaviness in my head, that dull, constant pressure, simply disappeared. My hands, which used to feel perpetually cold, even indoors in winter, became pleasantly warm. And the most astonishing transformation? My blood pressure, which used to roller coaster, with sudden spikes that would leave me feeling utterly drained and needing to lie down, completely leveled out. It became steady, quiet, and reliable, like a perfectly tuned clock. Aronia is an incredibly special berry, truly one of a kind. It's bursting with so many profound benefits that you simply won't find packaged up and sold at your local pharmacy. Those incredibly dark, almost black natural pigments you see in it, those are called anthocyanins, and they are powerful. They are precisely what work tirelessly to protect your delicate blood vessels, dramatically improve blood flow to your eyes, circulation to your brain. To put it simply, they make us feel more alive, more vibrant, more ourselves. Let me share a quick story about my dear friend Anna May. We practically retired at the same time, and she was Chisha back then. She constantly complained of debilitating dizziness, especially in the mornings. She'd describe it like floating or swimming in the room, and her hands, they were perpetually freezing, no matter the temperature. Her doctor had diagnosed it as age-related vascular weakness and prescribed a list of pills, but Anna May didn't tolerate them well. They just made her feel worse. So, one day, I looked at her and said, "Anna May, please just try aronia." I brought her a small jar of my dried berries and patiently explained exactly how to brew them. A couple of months later, I ran into her in the park, and she was vigorously waving to me from across the path, practically skipping, as if she'd never had a single complaint in her life. She rushed over, beaming, and exclaimed, "Mary, I am walking on my own again, without any fear, without feeling like I'll float away, and my fingers are finally warm, just like they used to be. I don't even need to wear a hat in winter all the time anymore." There you have it, a simple native berry. Not some exotic imported superfood that costs a fortune, but our own humble aronia. So, how do you prepare it? It's wonderfully easy. Just brew it in a thermos for after 10 hours and then drink it regularly, just like you would a warm tea. You can also easily add dried or fresh aronia to your morning oatmeal, or blend it into a homemade apple compote. Just remember to skip the sugar. The absolute key, and I cannot stress this enough, is consistency, a little bit, regularly, without going to any extremes. If you also find yourself experiencing those frustrating blood pressure fluctuations, or persistently cold fingers and toes, or that heavy, foggy feeling in your head, please just give this simple berry a try. Aronia doesn't work harshly or abruptly. It works gently, subtly, as if it's gradually guiding your entire body back into its natural, harmonious order. If you're already familiar with the incredible benefits of aronia, I would love for you to share your experience by typing the word power in the comments below. If you haven't yet, but you're now considering it, simply write taking note. This simple interaction helps us understand what truly resonates with you and lets us know that our message is reaching those who need it most. Product number 2, willow herb tea. This is more than just an herb. It's a profound botanical that brings a deep sense of peace and tranquility. When I was a young woman, willow herb tea, or Ivan chai as it's traditionally known, in some cultures was a cherished beverage in so many homes, especially in our close-knit rural community. Our grandmothers kept it proudly displayed in big 3-liter jars on their shelves. They brewed it just like regular black tea, but the flavor was wonderfully softer, smoother, and after drinking it, there was never any bitterness, no uncomfortable jitters, and absolutely no lingering anxiety. Then, over time, people seemed to forget about it. Grocery store shelves became flooded with brightly colored boxes of highly processed, artificially flavored teas, and willow herb, unfortunately, became unfashionable, almost forgotten. But about years ago, I had a profound reintroduction to it, and I haven't been without it since. Why? Because it does precisely what our bodies and minds so desperately need as we navigate the journey of aging. It profoundly calms the nervous system, beautifully eases inner tension, and significantly improves both the quality of your sleep and the efficiency of your digestion. And it does all of this without the need for pills, without any risk of addiction, and without any unpleasant side effects. In the evening, I simply brew a small pinch of willow herb tea, let it steep for a comforting 15minutes, and then I drink it warm without a single drop of sugar. Sometimes I'll even add a tiny hint of that aronia berry extract. After enjoying it, I can feel my body gently relax, my thoughts quiet down, and I drift off to sleep peacefully, without restless dreams or those irritating middle-of-the-night awakenings. I had a dear acquaintance. We often crossed paths at our local library. She constantly complained that by evening her heart would start to race like crazy, as she described it. Her pulse would quicken, she'd feel an overwhelming sense of anxiety, and because of all this, she simply couldn't fall asleep. Prescription pills didn't offer her any real relief. In fact, they only seemed to drain her strength further. One day, I poured some of my brewed willow herb tea into a thermos for her and said, "Please, just try this instead of your usual black tea, even if it's just for one evening." A few days later, she approached me, her face glowing. She said, "Mary, for the very first time in what feels like an eternity, I actually fell asleep without that nagging thought that I wouldn't be able to. I just lay down, and it was as if someone gently, lovingly closed my eyes for me." Willow herb is remarkably rich in beneficial compounds that help your brain, your heart, and your stomach work in perfect harmony without becoming overstressed or overworked. It effectively reduces inflammation throughout the body, aids in gently cleansing the liver, and significantly improves the drainage of fluids from your tissues, which means less swelling, less bloating, and a lighter feeling in your entire body. It is particularly beneficial in our more mature years, when every system in our organism tends to become a little more sensitive, a little more responsive. How do you prepare it? Simply steep 1 level teaspoon of the dried herb in about 1 cups, 100 ml of hot, but not boiling, water. Let it infuse under a lid for a comfortable 15 minutes. Drink it warm and ideally not on an empty stomach. You can certainly enjoy it during the day, but it truly works its magic in the evening as a perfect calming alternative to sugary teas or stimulating coffee. If you cherish quiet evenings, if you long to sleep peacefully through the night and wake up with a clear, refreshed mind, I urge you to give willow herb tea a try. If you already have willow herb tea as a staple in your kitchen, please share your positive experience by typing the word serenity in the comments. If you're now inspired and just planning to try it for the first time, write evening brew. Let this simple act be your very first step toward cultivating a profound sense of inner balance and tranquility. Product number 3, buckwheat porridge. Oh, buckwheat! It's simple, it's incredibly inexpensive, and as I've learned over a lifetime, it's enduringly effective. If you were to ask me what single food I have eaten most often throughout my entire life, I wouldn't hesitate for a second. It's buckwheat. Not because I was on some trendy diet, or because it was fashionable. No, it was simply because I literally grew up on it. And the older I became, the more profoundly I understood just how incredibly powerful and supportive this food truly is. When I reached my early 60s, I started experiencing some troublesome issues with my blood sugar. Sometimes it was a deep, overwhelming sluggishness after meals, then sudden spells of weakness, or an alarming, rapid heartbeat out of nowhere. My doctor looked at my tests and said, "Mary, you need to closely monitor your blood sugar levels." So I immediately eliminated white bread from my diet. I didn't touch any sugary pastries. And in their place, I embraced simple buckwheat. I ate it in the mornings, sometimes for lunch, cooked purely with water, no salt, no oil. Nothing extra, just its pure, wholesome goodness. And what do you think happened? Within just a couple of weeks, that debilitating post-meal sleepiness vanished. After a couple of months, I clearly noticed that my blood sugar levels had become remarkably stable and calm. My blood pressure gently lowered, and most importantly, I developed a wonderful sense of deep satisfaction after eating, without any of that heavy, bloated feeling. That, my friends, is why I absolutely adore buckwheat. It doesn't weigh you down, it reliably, consistently supports you. Buckwheat is incredibly rich in complex carbohydrates, which means it provides you with sustained energy, not just for an hour or two, but for your entire day. It's packed with essential magnesium, vital iron, and abundant dietary fiber. And all of this without a single artificial additive or supplement from a pharmacy. If you cook it until it's beautifully soft, without any prior browning or toasting, it becomes wonderfully gentle and suitable even for those who experience sensitivity with their stomach or pancreas. I have a dear niece named Tanya. For most of her life, she was always eating on the go, grabbing quick, often unhealthy snacks whenever she could. I told her, "Tanya, it's so easy. Just soak the buckwheat overnight, and in the morning, simply bring it to a gentle boil." She initially scoffed, giving me that typical younger generation eye roll. But a month later, she called me, her voice filled with excitement, saying, "Aunt Mary, for the first time in my life, I've started eating properly, and my head feels so much clearer, and I have so much more energy in the evenings." Thank you, thank you, thank you. See? Not some fancy, expensive breakfast trend, but simple, humble buckwheat. It's uncomplicated, it's reliable, and it makes no grand demands. And with each passing year, my confidence in its power only grows stronger. How do you cook it? It's a perfect ER ratio, 1 cup of buckwheat to 2 cups of water. Bring it to a boil. Then reduce the heat to low and simmer for 15-20 minutes until the water is absorbed and it's tender. No oil, no salt, nothing extra needed during cooking. You can, however, add a little of that aronia berry extract or a spoonful of warm flaxseed oil after it's cooked for extra goodness. If you're still contemplating where to begin making positive changes in your diet, I sincerely urge you to start here. Buckwheat is like building a strong foundational pillar for your health. It requires minimal effort but provides an incredibly robust basis for your well-being. If you too are a fan of incorporating buckwheat into your diet, please let us know by typing foundation in the comments below. If you haven't yet, but were now inspired to try it, simply write "on my plate." Let's discover how many of us choose this simple yet incredibly effective path to better health. Product number 4, seaweed. Oh, seaweed. It's a true marvel. Seaweed. It's a true marvel of the ocean. It contains no less iodine than you'd find in any pharmacy supplement. But that, my friends, is truly just the beginning of its remarkable benefits. I first tried seaweed when I was in my 40s. Back then, hardly anyone talked about thyroid health, but I started noticing unsettling symptoms. My hands felt perpetually cold, my voice seemed to grow quieter, and it felt as if my overall energy had significantly diminished from what it once was. My doctor reviewed my lab results and advised Mary, your thyroid numbers are on the lower end of the spectrum. You should seriously consider incorporating more seafood into your diet. Now, I'm not particularly fond of fish, but seaweed, well, that fit perfectly into my routine right away. It's not heavy on the stomach, and its taste is pleasantly briny, but if prepared correctly, it's never overly strong or fishy. I started adding it little by little, a sprinkle in my salads, mixed into my breakfast oatmeal, and sometimes simply enjoyed on its own as a light side dish. And within just a couple of weeks, I felt a noticeable shift. My hands finally felt warmer, my energy levels returned to their vibrant self, and it was as if a beautiful clarity had settled in my mind. That, my friends, is what it feels like when everything in your body begins to work precisely as it should. Seaweed, you see, is so much more than just iodine. It's a nutritional powerhouse brimming with vital B vitamins, essential iron, valuable magnesium, and a wealth of beneficial dietary fibers. It acts as a powerful ally for your thyroid gland, diligently cleanses your blood vessels, and effectively regulates your entire. And what's more, and this is truly significant, it gently but effectively lowers harmful cholesterol levels and provides crucial support to your liver, helping it manage its natural detoxification processes without being overwhelmed. Let me share a quick story about my neighbor, Rose, who is Tishabat. For years, she constantly complained about persistent lethargy and a feeling of brain fog that never seemed to lift. I suggested she start incorporating seaweed into her diet, even just every other day, either mixed into a salad or simply a spoonful as a side dish. A month later, she came to me, her eyes sparkling, and exclaimed, "Mary, it's like someone turned on a light inside me. My memory is sharper, and even my neck doesn't feel cold anymore." This is how nutrition works, Mary, when you just don't overcomplicate it. But here's a crucial point, something you absolutely must pay attention to. Do not buy the pre-packaged, jarred seaweed that's often soaked in vinegar and sugar. Those varieties, sadly, offer little to no benefit and can even be detrimental. Your best choice is dried kelp, often labeled laminaria. Simply soak it in water for a couple of hours. Rinse it thoroughly, and then add a tiny drizzle of good quality oil. Alternatively, opt for high-quality frozen seaweed that is free of any added preservatives or artificial ingredients. How do you use it? It's incredibly versatile. Add it to a fresh salad with carrots, buckwheat, or steamed beets. Enjoy it separately as a light side dish, just 1 or 2 tablespoons. You can even chop it finely and add it to your dotted vegetable soups right at the very end of the cooking process. If you've previously avoided seaweed, perhaps out of unfamiliarity, please don't be so quick to dismiss it. Give it a genuine chance. If you already enjoy the benefits of seaweed, please let us know by typing iodine in the comments. If you're now feeling inspired and just about to try it for the first time, write including it. Let's see how many of us are choosing to take care of our thyroid and our circulatory system, not with a handful of pills, but with a simple spoonful of wholesome food from the sea. Product number 5, sauerkraut. Sauerkraut. Oh, this humble, traditional food. It truly embodies the principle of nothing extra, but everything essential. This fermented cabbage, I've known it since my earliest childhood memories. In our home, my family always made it themselves, in a big ceramic crock, without a drop of vinegar, without any added sugar, just pure cabbage, fresh carrots, and a touch of salt. Back then, we simply ate it as a delicious side with our potatoes and fish. But later, as I matured and began to understand more about health and nutrition, I realized this isn't just a simple garnish. This is true, powerful support for the entire organism. Sauerkraut is a living food, a vibrant, fermented powerhouse. It's teeming with beneficial lactic acid bacteria, the kind that are absolutely crucial for helping your gut work precisely as it should. And when your gut is happy and healthy, everything else falls into place. This means that vitamins are better absorbed into your system, your liver isn't overburdened, your immune system becomes remarkably stronger, and most importantly, there's significantly less inflammation throughout your entire body. I particularly felt its incredible power when I reached Tissers. That's when I started encountering frustrating digestive problems, persistent bloating, a heavy, uncomfortable feeling after eating, constant drowsiness, and a strange situation where I had an appetite, but absolutely no joy or satisfaction from my meals. So I began to incorporate sauerkraut little by little, just 1 tablespoon before meals, sometimes simply as a delicious, tangy side. Within a couple of weeks, I felt lighter, more comfortable. And after a month, it was as if everything inside me had quietly, harmoniously begun to work together like a well-oiled machine. My appetite joyfully returned, and my mood became wonderfully steady and even. Fermented cabbage, or sauerkraut, is also an exceptional source of vitamin C, a nutrient that, as we age, we often don't get enough of. Plus, it's rich in dietary fiber, potassium, and a whole range of B vitamins, especially B-low, which is absolutely vital for healthy brain function and for effectively reducing feelings of anxiety. Here's another true story from my life. My neighbor Anne, who is Chishabat, developed severe gut issues after a course of strong antibiotics. Her doctor had prescribed probiotics, but she simply forgot to buy them. So I looked at her and said, Anne, start with some real sauerkraut, but make sure it's not the kind from the supermarket. Get good, traditional, homemade stuff. I'll give you a jar of mine. A week later, she came over, her face beaming. She said, Mary, for the first time in a month, my stomach is completely calm. And it's like I feel lighter, not just in my body, but in my head and in my overall mood. How do you eat it? It's versatile and easy. 1 or 2 tablespoons before a meal or a small amount in a salad, but remember, no mayonnaise. And again, this is key, only choose sauerkraut that is made without vinegar, without added sugar, and without any chemical preservatives. Just simple cabbage, carrots, and salt. That's the entire perfect recipe. If you want your digestion to work smoothly and harmoniously, if you want your mood to remain balanced and positive, and if you want to prevent internal irritation from building up, then please add this amazing sauerkraut to your daily diet. It's simple, it's alive, and it's wonderfully accessible. If you already have this incredible sauerkraut in your refrigerator, please let us know by typing sour but true in the comments. If you're now planning to give it a try for the first time, write starting with a spoon. This way, we'll understand who among us is ready to actively support their health, not by constantly relying on pharmacies, but by embracing the wisdom of simple, real food.